Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for clicking on the video. Much to my detriment, I've not had much time to script a video this week, so I'm gonna try and do this a bit off the cuff, which I know some other YouTubers who do this sort of content have tried, and in many people's eyes, including their audiences, fail to do so. Who knows, but I feel like the channel is early enough and I'm still playing around with this format to sort of get away with this at the moment. But yeah, like I said, there's just a few things this week which I just wanted to get some sort of content out over, but I've just not had the time to put a script together. But the main thing that I wanted to sort of talk about and discuss is obviously Spider-Man for PS4. It's the best-selling game of the year as I'm recording this. It's overtaken Far Cry 5. Everybody knows. There's no even point in trying to say how big it is because we already know. Just like you can't go anywhere without seeing it. However, one thing that has gone not under the radar per se, but I'm not seeing it blow up nearly as much as I would have thought it would, is the fact that the one of the creative directors on the game was on, I think it was the Kind of Funny podcast, and he's confirmed that a Marvel gaming universe is in the works and that Spider-Man is the MCU's Iron Man, essentially. So this Spider-Man game is the equivalent to the Iron Man kicking off the MCU films. And we all know how successful that went. Now, I thought with this confirmed, and again, maybe this is why people aren't talking about it, I really am unsure about how I feel about this. I made a point, if you follow me on Twitter and whatnot, I've been tweeting quite a lot about Spider-Man recently because I don't have a fucking PS4 and I'm very jealous. However, I did bring up the point, and I was sort of talking to a few people on there about how it's so odd that Batman and Spider-Man are sort of the only two go-to franchises for if you want a superhero experience with a video game. And that's only really come from obviously 2009 when we saw Arkham Asylum kick off. We saw that licensed properties could be done well. Rockstar set the bar really high, but if you think about it, that was 2009. It's been almost 10 years. And we've only just got a second franchise proving the point that licensed games can work. But not only have we now got a second type to be like, okay, like more could now possibly be done. Batman wasn't a fluke. Done right, these properties can be done well and we can get some great games out of them. But they seem to sort of be not jumping the gun, but by just saying that this is in a gaming universe. To me, now I'm a massive fucking nerd when it comes to superheroes and all that. I know I'm one of them. But I'm just not as excited as I thought I would be about this news. When I first heard it, got so excited, but where it's not been done before, and the industry seems to be tiptoeing its way. Like I say, it's taken 9 years just to get a second franchise or different property superhero made into a game. It's very odd. It's really, really odd. And they always seem like Spider-Man has had probably what I would say the most amount of tries as well. I watched a video last night about the history of Spider-Man in video games, and it's just been attempt after attempt after attempt. And we've only really had 2, maybe 3, 4 at an absolute push decent games. So to open that up to an entire gaming universe, I'm just not sure if that is what I want. But then again, I don't know what I want. No gamer does. But and it opens up another question of, because Spider-Man is a PS4 exclusive, does that mean the entire universe is going to be exclusive? Or I imagine not, but it seems like an odd place to start. Imagine if Iron Man came out in cinemas, but it was only with one franchise of a cinema. So like it's View here in the UK or like Cineworld. If it was only one of those companies, that it's a weird way to start a universe. And it does sort of raise the question of, okay, is everything else now cross-platform? Or is it going to be hit and miss? So say if we get like a Captain America game on the Xbox, the fucking Switch gets, I don't know, fucking Ant-Man or something. But you've got all of these independent solo titles on exclusive consoles. It just seems like a bit of a weird way to start a gaming universe. But it does, obviously the best thing about this is we know that we're getting more superhero games. That's fucking great. I've been wanting to scratch that itch for a long time. I think Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I don't necessarily want that type of like dungeon crawler game, but just that sort of storytelling within like a established superhero franchise. It's just not done often, and I think it's a massive missed opportunity. I think beforehand, when the industry was still very young, it was still learning its steps. Maybe that's why there were so many downfalls. But now, obviously, the industry is fairly more grown up, it's matured, so now is hopefully the best time to to make a real effort with this and get something nailed down. I'm really looking forward to that. The last point that I'm going to bring up about the gaming universe is sort of like, what do we want next? Obviously, we know Spider-Man is a mainstay for gaming, Batman, but obviously he's DC. But no other superhero has really been done besides the X-Men, but that was like back in the arcades. There was a few PS4 titles, etc. PS2 titles, sorry. But other than that, I'm not really sure who is going to be next on like the block really for a big game. Like, would a Thor game work? Would a Captain America game work? Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man has quite a lot of potential, to be fair. I think you can get really creative with that, especially with like the game mechanics and obviously his powers. I think you can sort of have a lot of fun with that. So I'd sort of put him at a push. But again, you don't really want to be sort of, here's our gaming universe. Here's the second game to really like move things on now. Like, Spider-Man established it, we confirmed that it was a universe. So now out of the gate, Ant-Man, like it's not the first person you think of, but it's really interesting to see what new mechanics are going to be brought out of this, because obviously the mechanics have to reflect the powers of whoever the game is about. It's just a very interesting time, I think. It's a very interesting concept, and it's just a wait and see. But like I said, I just want to get something out this week. This is the main sort of topic which I wanted to cover. The news only really broke about 2 days ago anyway, but I've just not had the time to sit down and put a script together. So hopefully I've not come across as too rambly in this video. There's one other story which I really want to cover. I'm not really going to go into it today, as I think this is a story which I would 100% need to script to get everything right. And also it's ongoing, and that's obviously the EA versus Belgium over the loot box laws over there. If you've not heard of this, then basically Belgium changed their laws to say that loot boxes are gambling, and have told video game publishers, if you want your game on retail here, you take out the gambling mechanics. Everybody else has agreed with this, apart from EA. I'm not the first person to bring this story to light. Obviously, this is a pretty big one in the industry, and there's other videos with much more important people who know a lot more talking about this properly. But it's still very early days. We know EA are going to take them to court, so I'm just going to wait and see how this one goes. This could be a real turning point in the industry because obviously if Belgium win, one, it's another kick in the nuts for EA, which honestly I'm starting to pity them at this point in 2018. They've taken an absolute beating. But also it sort of sets the bar, like other countries can follow. Loot boxes, I think, will become a very distant memory, or their presence in games would shrink so much if Belgium win this one. However, if it flips the other way and EA win, then I think their presence is going to become back to being that overbearing sort of evil that we had in our games beforehand. But like I said, I don't really want to just run into that now, as it's a story which is ongoing. I'm not completely read up on it. I'm going nowhere near facts and figures at the moment, just because I wouldn't want to sort of just guess, really. And again, as two other YouTubers mainly do. But yeah, hopefully I'll be covering that as that story goes on. That's definitely caught my attention. I'm sure everybody else's attention, but very interesting time. Very interesting time for EA. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to leave that there because I feel like I'm getting a bit rambly. Again, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much. Sorry if it has been a bit rambly. I will leave hopefully next week. I'm going to have more time to put an actual script together, and then we won't do this anymore. Unless this turns out fucking brilliant, in which case, you're welcome.